Jordan and I met for the first time at actually his townhouse in Tallahassee. Leslie Bennett, my roommate, and one of the only people I knew when I went up to school at Florida State, introduced us.
We had a bunch of people over, and she came over with Leslie Bennett, who was a good friend of mine in high school. And yeah, that's where we met. And I thought she was gorgeous from the first time I saw her.
December 29th, 2006.
The first date was officially Chick-fil-A. And that is why you're eating Chick-fil-A right now.
The night before, Jordan and I had a conversation about us starting to date, and I was kind of hesitant, I guess, but he came and picked me up the next morning and took me to lunch at Chick-fil-A. I had dropped my car off at Pep Boys, and he told me that he wasn't going to take me over there to pick up my car until I agreed to date him. So here we are. That's
not the first date. The first date was before we were officially a couple, I guess you could say. And I took Kara to see It's a Wonderful Life at the Tampa Theater. I knew that she liked It's a Wonderful Life, and if you've ever been to the Tampa Theater, it's incredible.
So Jordan came and picked me up and didn't tell me where we were going, and we went down to the Tampa Theater, which is beautiful, and saw It's a Wonderful Life, and then had dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. But we still weren't really officially dating, but we like to call that our first real date because it was really romantic and a really cool and fun time for the two of us. We like to do anything together. I recently asked him to buy me bikes for my birthday. We
just bought bikes, but we've been biking together before, so we've really enjoyed biking together. Kara's a quality time person. We very early on found our love languages and decided what those were. And Kara's is quality time. We could be doing nothing, and she would just love being together.
He's unlike any other guy I've met. He kind of has a energy, and I think anyone who has met him knows that. He's really spontaneous. He brings out a lot of things in me that I love about myself and that I don't necessarily do unless we're around together. But he loves life, and he is enthusiastic about anything that he's passionate about, and I love that he has so many passions.
Kara was different than anybody I had known. In that she was incredibly fun, incredibly spontaneous, but at the same time had a quality that I'd always required for anybody that I had dated, and that first and foremost she was sincerely and truly a woman of God, and that she was actively pursuing a relationship with Christ. And that accompanied with the fact that she was just one of the most fun people I knew. That was it for me.
We moved all of my stuff in this past weekend, and I think I had a lot of time to think about leaving my parents and now being accountable and responsible to God, but also to Jordan as my husband. And I think it's tough to think about because I feel like our family dynamic and being under my parents is different than a lot of people. They really, we have a really close relationship, and so the thought of not being around them and all that every day is tough. But Jordan really exemplifies my dad a lot. He and my dad love to joke around. A lot of the qualities that I see in my dad, I also see in Jordan.
I'd always had good relationships with the parents of girls I dated in high school, and but I never had a relationship quite like the one I have with my mother-in-law and father-in-law to be, Sheila and Tom Goski, and they showed me through their love for me and just through their family dynamic how much they loved their daughter, and that was incredibly important to me. It was important for me to know that Kara was loved unconditionally by her parents, and to see her love for her parents in return. And it's one of those things where I always knew it was important for me to have, to Kara, it was important for me to have a good relationship with her parents. And as I got to know them and interact with them, it was incredibly important to me too, because I just grew to love them and really appreciate them. And they're already my other family before we even take our vows.
I love his parents. They really are great. His mom and I hit it off really quickly. We both love to shop and love to talk, and she really is a great person. His dad He's an interesting person, but I love him. He is Jordan Rayner times 15 million. But he is great, and he did everything possible to make me feel welcome in their family.
I think Kara is, I tell her this all the time, Kara's one of the most joyful people I know. Everything about her is joy, the way she smiles, the way she conducts herself, the way she comes across to others. She's just joyful, and I think I saw that from the beginning, and that's what I loved about her most, and you know, it's one of the big reasons why I'm marrying her.